Hi guys, continuing this week's theme of looking at health as a holistic thing. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about ways in which we can apply this to our own journey, to your own journey. A holistic approach to health is crucial, especially if we want our time, effort, investment, and energy that we've put into this to be sustainable in the long run. Essentially, if we want to avoid the yo-yoing boom and bust approach that so many people I speak to have found themselves falling into the trap of in the past. So most people will focus on their exercise and on their nutrition when they want to lose weight, improve their health, get fit, etc. But in my opinion, this is only looking at 2 of 5 crucial pillars that make up health. So if exercise and nutrition are 2 of them, what are the other 3? We've got sleep, we've got stress, and we've got mental health. Our body is just like a physical house. We can work really hard to create this beautiful home, beautiful body, but if the foundations of which that is built upon is weak, then at the nearest sign of stress, we are going to crumble. So a beautiful house built on weak foundations, slightest tremor, slightest anything, and that house is going to fall down. Same goes for our physique. We might have a great physique. We might have worked really hard to lower our body fat, to build a bit of muscle mass onto our body. We have loads of energy. We feel great. But if that's only built upon you being in a good place when all of that's achieved, then the minute chronically heightened periods of stress come along and the foundation is not strong, I've seen it time and time again, we will collapse. That body, that house will collapse and we'll be back to square one. So in a nutshell, our physical health that we're working on, that's only going to be as strong and as sustainable as the strength of our mental health. A lot of the executives and business owners I speak to have tried time and time again to lose the weight. They've tried to lose the gut, lose the double chin, lose the man boobs, try to improve their energy, try to improve their focus. But every time they do it, they tend to only focus on those 2 pillars, nutrition and exercise alone. And then they will get great results, then something will happen, and then they'll be thrown for a loop and they'll go back to their old habits. And this is a cycle that they can be stuck in for a few years, but most of them it's 10, 20, 30 years that they are in the same repetitive cycle of getting the motivation and willpower together to have another crack at getting the health in order, only to do well. But then the minute something comes out of left field and takes them for surprise, it goes out the window. So to ensure that we don't get thrown for a loop every time something happens and we get more stress, because that is natural, that is part of life. You know, we can reduce stress to a degree, but there will always be stressful incidents that happen. So in order to resolve this problem, we need to go beyond just cutting out carbs and killing ourselves in the gym. That's why today's tips are focused around mental health, as that really does underpin everything that we do. If we're happy and not overwhelmed with stress, we are far more likely to be able to make good, healthy decisions. But again, a lot of people who try to improve their health don't even take into account whether they are happy or unhappy, whether they are overwhelmed with stress or whether they're okay. But what would happen if we did take it into account? Well, for the hundreds of clients I've worked with over the years, incorporating an approach that includes mental health as part of the process has led to hugely improved results. On average, a 12 to 18 kilogram loss in just 16 weeks. And more importantly, those amazing results are sustained. It isn't something that a month after we stop working together, it goes out the window and they're back to square one again. They sustain these results for years and years and years. No more falling off the wagon or the dreaded yo-yoing in weight ever again. So if we work on improving our stress tolerance and we work on improving our stress coping mechanisms, we're going to be in a much better position to face chronically heightened periods of stress when they come up in the future, because they will come up. It means we'll be far less likely to fall back into the old habits of using food, alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, shopping, you name it, external things to help numb how we're feeling. Instead of reaching for the chocolate and wine, we're going to have tools in our toolbox that we can refer to help us cope with the stresses when they come up in a much, much healthier way. So how would this look in real life? So for example, instead of getting to the end of a long day, having had dinner, finally getting to sit down and relax for an hour or 2 in the evening, and then because we've sat down, because we've unwound, because we're shutting down from work, how we truly feel can often start bubbling to the surface. So quite often people struggle with feelings and emotions that don't make them feel good. They're what we view as negative emotions. Although, to be honest, it's not so much that they're a negative emotion as the emotion makes us feel negative. The way we perceive it creates that negative feeling within us. But if we can stop reaching for the chocolate and the wine to help numb those emotions that we feel once we finally wound down in the evening, and instead we increased our self-awareness so that we were able to even be aware that we are getting stressed, that we are feeling those negative emotions, rather than immediately reaching for something to alter our states, we sit with it for a second because we're aware of it, and we acknowledge that we feel that way. When we acknowledge that we feel that way, then and only then are we able to let go of that feeling, understand why we feel that way, and ultimately be able to step away from the negative numbing responses that we usually use in order to help us cope. I mentioned increasing our self-awareness. Now, that is at the very heart of being able to spot when we're doing these things and to be able to stop them in the long run. And it's something that I work very hard with my clients to help them increase their level of self-awareness, both internal and external. And some of the things that we can do to help increase our self-awareness are things like meditation, breathing exercises, and mantras that can help us remind ourselves of what we need to be prioritizing from any given day. When we start to get this stuff right, it massively improves our chances of being able to adhere to a diet, an exercise plan, as any kind of strategy that we do put in place to help us lose weight and get healthy. We are going to be far more likely to be able to succeed at it. If you've tried losing weight, if you've tried getting your health in check, if you've tried improving your fitness, etc., and you've always found yourself back at square one a few months, a few weeks, or a year later, maybe you need to look at incorporating a more holistic approach to your health. Hopefully you found this video interesting, and hopefully it's provided some value so that next time, or if you're currently trying to improve your health, you can maybe stop for a second and reevaluate what is it that you're incorporating into your approach. Maybe there's room for a few new things like meditation, like breathing, that can help you level up your game and get better results. If you need any help, feel free to DM me and I'll be more than happy to have a chat. Have a great day, guys.